waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Every moment, every step I take, with every heartbeat and every breath I breathe, I'm grateful. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. Now I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Every conversation is an opportunity to see the light of love shine as our divinity. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. Now I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Oh yeah, now, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I don't care how old I am or how I've stumbled down. I've got faith and good reason to let my spirit soar like a phoenix thundering out of its dust to sing a song of truth. I'm not stuck inside illusion or the fantasy of youth. And I rise, and I sail, and I soar beyond the walls I've built. And I roar like a distant Mahalia singing to the Lord. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste one more minute of my life.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the heart, I am the hands. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the heart, you are the hands. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the heart, we are the hands. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the heart, I am the hands. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the heart, you are the hands. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the heart, I am the hands. You are the heart.
I've seen my share of struggle when I thought that I knew best, when I've sailed through a storm instead of stopping to rest. And it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, he spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. I guess he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me, yeah. I wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea.
Good morning, everyone. Kind of starting service a little bit differently this morning. And I just want to welcome everybody to our service. I got a call a couple of minutes ago. I got a text a couple of minutes ago from my cousin Becky, noticing that my voice sounded different on my morning message this morning. I wasn't necessarily my perkiest self, and I have to say that I know there's an awful lot of unrest and upset in our country this week. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Monica, Mark, Susie. I'm going to start off with a video this morning by Ricky Byers called Freedom, Freedom, and it shows a picture of a world and a society that I want to live in. So let's watch this together.
Sons and daughters, freedom for earth, sky and water. Freedom, this is a song about freedom. Freedom for our sons and daughters, freedom for earth, sky and water. Freedom, this is a call for our freedom. To feel with compassion, freedom to live, love in action. Freedom, this is a call for our freedom. Freedom to feel mothers and fathers. Freedom to dwell beyond borders. Freedom. This is a call for our freedom. Freedom for mothers and fathers. Freedom to dwell beyond borders. And now I know I can make a change in my life and maybe yours. We need to make the choice to open up all the doors. Why must we feel the pain, misery, and agony when we could all coexist in freedom? Freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. What is the plan for our freedom? Freedom, freedom. Stand for our freedom, freedom. Yeah.
Try to close your eyes.
Freedom,
Visualize what life would be like. Lo vivía.
freedom.
Libertad. Es lo que siempre hemos buscado. Por eso mi gente se viene a este lado. Amén.
Everyone needs to be free.
Eso lo quiero sentir dentro de mí, pero a veces ni se puede sonreír. Pero madre me dijo, mijo, no te agüites, busca la libertad, la tienes adentro del alma. Busca la calma, deja que crezca más grande que palmas. No sigas fama, eso nos vira. Pídele a Dios y nada será falta. That's what to my mama, I'm on. Freedom to feel what love, I'm not alone. I know you feel me, you could be strong. Put that in gun, put that in drugs. Help out your neighbor and go raise your son. Go be a leader, student and teacher. See the things that you talk about as preachers. Do that right now in the name of your freedom.
Freedom, freedom. This is a song about freedom. Freedom for our sons and daughters. Freedom for earth, sky and water. Freedom for earth, sky and water. Freedom to dwell beyond borders.
I love that song by Ricky. And I love the images that video show us of a society where we're all loving each other and respecting each other regardless of the color of our skin, our sexual orientation, our gender identification, our ethnicity, what country we come from. And that said, what's going on in our country right now, and this, again, another happenstance of institutionalized racism, again, is just plain horrifying and horrendous. Another unarmed black man, George Floyd, is dead at the hands of a white officer or white officers. And it's just very upsetting. You know, I've said this from the pulpit before, and I think slavery and the resultant institutionalized racism that still exists as a founding core of our country is just the worst crime. And I'm a Jew, and I have family that died in the Holocaust in Europe, and I'd say those two are modern crimes of humanity. I want to quote this morning from an email that came from my dear friend Reverend Dr. David Alexander. He sent this email to the field. He sent it to the minister's listserv yesterday, in which he said, "This is one Sunday I wish that we could all gather in person. It would be cathartic and healing to be in the same space and help establish a safe place for people of color in our congregations. People are raw, whether it's because they're a person of color, an empath, both, or just tuned into what's going on and wondering how we move forward from all of this." And David, who is the senior minister at our center in Atlanta, is a white man married to a black woman, Patience Mwanza, who's a friend of mine too, and they are the parents to two boys who are both people of color. And this week he wrote this poem which said, fires of rage in our cities burn, the pain of injustice in our stomach churn. Holy Spirit, ignite in me the capacity to see that this is your work, so that I may do our work. Have I not known such pain, frustration, boiling point of rage? Am I unfamiliar with being fed up? Holy Spirit, ignite in me the capacity to see racism is the disease that is spread. Whiteness is my cross, and this is the sound of Pentecost. And of course, Pentecost is a Christian holiday celebrating, the divine spirit on earth and divine right action, What keeps coming up for me in all of this is a quote from Socrates. Nothing to be preferred before justice. Nothing to be preferred before justice. That's just what keeps coming up for me. Nothing to be preferred. And Dr. Holmes wrote, and I'm going to quote this later in my talk again too, but Dr. Holmes writes, "We cannot enter this gate of good with a sword in our hands." We cannot enter this gate of good with a sword in our hands. So I'd like to, what comes for me, is that we are the light keepers, the New Thought thinkers. We are the light keepers. And I think we have to mentally align ourselves with our good for this to change. I look for things that I can say, but the only thing that keeps coming up for me is the Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness, the Ho'onoponopono prayer, which says, I am sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Wherever you are right now, do me a favor and join in with me in saying this a couple of times. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Deborah Kearns says, good morning, family. Elizabeth Partaker says, my grandchildren are mixed. I want better for my grandbabies. Charles says, the video said, when Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. I'd say Black Lives Matter because all lives matter. Yes, that was a fifth grader, I think, who wrote that. So from that fifth grader's perspective, that is what he was feeling. Hodor and Christy, undefeated. Good morning. Good morning. So, all right. I'm gonna take us now into I Release. Let's start our formal service this morning with I Release. So I invite you all to sit back and enjoy this great agape rendition of.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace
Well, I taught music and ministry for the Holmes Institute this week. I taught 10 ministerial students Friday night and Saturday about the power of music in our ministries. And, it's like, doesn't matter what's going on with me, that song always brings me right back to what I want my practical spirituality to do for me, which is to remind me that I'm only here for God, as the front end of God. And today, I'm going to just give you a preview, is these hands. My life is the life of the divine made manifest. Spirit works through me in the world. These hands are the hands of God. So what's mine to do? What actions can I take to live my call and my life's purpose? That's what we're going to be talking about today for all of us. Dawn said, thank you for addressing a real and sensitive subject. And I know, Dawn, that this is a very, of course, Dawn's kids are also biracial, and she is biracial. And actually, Dawn herself is biracial, and her kids are multiracial. And so, I love the fact that our community is a mixed community, and that we are good at loving each other. And the whole thing about institutional racism is that when it starts to become invisible, it's like, I have white privilege. I don't want white privilege, but I was born white in this country, and so the way that I walk down a street and what I feel when I see police officers, I think, is different than when one of my black brothers or sisters walks down the street and what they feel when they see police officers. And I hate that. I don't want us to feel different. I want us to all feel loved and supported. Let's go right to our promises now, because I really want to affirm these this morning. Let's say this together. I keep the promise that I have made myself to affirm in this moment that I am abundant, healthy, strong, and happy. I keep the intention to daily speak this truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of life, truth, power, and action. I whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I assure my soul. Let's assure our souls by singing I Remember Who I Am. And let's think about these lyrics that, a great songwriter wrote this song. Let's just think about these lyrics, because I love the way this song makes me feel too. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. We are life. We are life. We are light. We are love. We are joy. We are peace. We are wisdom and beautiful harmony. We are pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. Yes, who we are. His pure spirit. One last time. Who we are. His pure spirit. When we do our community affirmation, it's taken from, it's not all of, but it's taken from Dr. Holmes' What We Believe, our Declaration of Principle. And starting this week, I'm adding a slide to that. The slide I want to add, and I feel it's very important that we as a community affirm on a weekly basis, is this. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I think it's important that we declare that part of our spiritual purpose is for us to emancipate everyone from discord and our thinking. Tammy Hunt says, the anger I feel is immense, and the hurt that I feel causes me to cry. I know, Tammy. I did not sleep well last night or the night before. I tossed and turned all night long, and not just because I have to get up and you know, it's like, as I said first, the thing this morning, I don't know if you had tuned in yet, but my cousin Becky Dennis had sent me a text this morning noticing that my voice sounded different. And I had recorded my my message this morning, you know, hi, everybody, you know, and then I listened to it and I thought, that is just fake. That is not the way I feel today. That is not the truth of how I feel about what's going on in this country. And we can still be religious scientists and affirm our good and align ourselves with our good and recognize, you know, Dr. Holmes said, I don't say peace when there is no peace. I don't say health when there is no health. The spiritual truth of us doesn't change, but conditions around us right now are painful. So let's say our community affirmation together, and you'll see where that new slide is. Just go a little bit slower today, so you'll know where this here. Let's say this together. I believe in one power, one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe that spirit expresses through me and is the unity of all life. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe that all thought is creative, and that how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. I think that really does add to what we're talking about. I think it does. So I gave you a preview of what our talk is going to be about today. So whether by design or divine coincidence, Elizabeth sent me a beautiful video of Jewel's song, Hands. Let's enjoy this beautiful creativity by our own Elizabeth Partaker.
If I could tell the world just one thing, it would be we're all okay. And not to worry, 'cause worry is wasteful and useless in times like these. I won't be made useless. I won't be idle with despair. I'd gather myself around my faith, for light does the darkness most fear. My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. But they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken. Poverty stole your golden shoes. It didn't steal your laughter. And heartache came to visit me, but I knew it wasn't ever after. We'll fight, not out of spite, for someone must stand for what's right. 'Cause where there's a man who has no voice, there I shall go singing. My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. But they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken. In the end, only kindness matters. In the end, only kindness matters. I will get down on my knees and I will pray. I will get down on my knees and I will pray. I will get down on my and I will pray. My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. But they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken. My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. But they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken. Rhiannon. We are God's eyes, God's hands, God's mind. We are God's eyes, God's hands, God's mind, God's hands. We are God's hands.
I gotta say, Elizabeth, even when we're back in person, I hope you'll continue to make these videos for us. They are so much fun and so touching. So thank you. Well, our practitioner today is Marina, and hi there, Marina.
Hi, everybody.
How are ya?
I'm well, thanks. You?
How's everything over at the center this morning?
Beautiful, well lit, lovely. The parking lot is healing nicely.
Nice, good. I was, when Marina was connecting with me earlier, but as the service was about to start, I noticed her beautiful silk bowling style shirt, which I'm a big fan of. That's a very nice shirt. So, and I love your haircut.
Thank you.
Was it a Demke who cut your hair?
No, one of my sisters cut my hair.
Oh, very nice. Very
yeah,
nice.
I really like it.
Okay. Well, you have the affirmation, the flames, and the treatment this morning, so let's get right to that. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. The affirmation for today, and I'm going to read it out loud, and if you'd like to join me from home a couple times, that'd be great. Love guides my hands in divine right action. And together, love guides my hands in divine right action. One more time, because it's so true. Love guides my hands in divine right action. Flames of faith. We perform this ceremony on Sunday to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledge that all peoples and all faiths, all beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The unity candle represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic tradition, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, honoring all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here. And we light the healing candle, Please put silently into the light names of loved ones, knowing that they have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. And while I have you, I invite you all to close your eyes and go inside. God is all there is. God is and I am. This is my life, my sweet, playful, rich, and warm life, and this life is God. I am one with the creative impulse of the universe, and I am unified with the great evolutionary urge that is Spirit. I am nature, and nature is me. What I declare for myself, I know for everyone listening. As spring winds up, the fecundity of life is the mirror of my focused intentions, sprouting and growing in and through me. I am the power of God creating and making new in response to the seeds I plant in mind. I am flexible and as joy-filled as the wind. I am as hardy and as healthy as the weed. I am as strong and as diligent as the cacti. I am as perfect and as beautiful as the Joshua tree. I eat well, I stretch, I grow. This quiet time I use to bolster and build my connection with all that I am. Life is good, and I am grateful for this community, for this life just bursting full of love and service. Gratitude floods my life and saturates my experiences. I release my word into the law of action, knowing that as I do so, it is done. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
And
Wow,
so it
that
is.
was beautiful. You used the word fecundity.
It's one of my favorites. You know,
I
I like words.
I do. And while I love it when you treat extemporaneously, when you write them, they're absolutely works of art. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I like writing.
Yeah, I know you do. All right, thanks. So everybody, thank you, Marina. I'm gonna, you may unceremoniously go now. She's leaving. Hang on, I'll go back to Marina there for a second.
I'm gonna go to the office and hang out with the St. Clairs.
Okay, put your mask back on. Okay.
I will.
All right, so I'm gonna hang up on Skype here for. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So, we'll just turn down the volume. Good. All right. So, all this month we've been talking about listen to your heart. And there is a song called Listen to Your Heart, and Emily graciously prepared a beautiful little video of it for us. So let's all welcome back our dear Emily Caruth.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you're built to love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart. When it's calling for you, listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye. Sometimes you wonder if this fight is worthwhile.
The precious moments are all lost in the tide, yeah. They're swept away and nothing is what it seems. Feeling of belonging in your dreams. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye. And there are voices that want to be heard. So much to mention, but you can't find the word. The scent of magic, the beauty that's been. When love was wilder than the wind. Listen to your heart. When it's calling for you, listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye. Listen to your heart. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye.
Oops. It ended really quick. I don't know what happened there, huh? I'll go back to the end of that. Hang on.
You tell it goodbye.
Oh, it ends pretty abruptly anyway. Well, thank you, Emily. I thought I did something, but it kind of ends abruptly. What a great rendition of that Roxette song. Thank you. She sent that to me a couple of weeks ago, and I really, really wanted to save it. Deborah said, Emily, this song will play daily in my life. You have the voice of an angel. So she sent me that song. Cheryl Lee says, thank you, Emily and Elizabeth, for sharing your beautiful voices with us this morning. I agree. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Elizabeth. And so Emily sent me that song a couple of weeks ago, and I knew I wanted to use it on the last Sunday of the month that we've been celebrating Listen to Your Heart all this month as the special music. And I love the lyrics of this Roxette song. Originally, Roxette was a Swedish duo, Marie Fredriksson and Per Gessle, and they wrote this. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart, there's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye. Man, we always really need to rely on our divine intuition, and during this time when things are just ugly around our country in so many ways, we really have to. We've been talking all week long about, this listen to our hearts, our divine intuition. We've got to listen to our divine intuition. All this month we've been exploring that idea, and the heart is a symbol of what's central and vital in our life experience. It's the place of love and truth within us. And if we really buy into and believe that what we're seeing out in the world right now, which is anger and racism and all kinds of discord and conflict, if we believe that that is the truth of us, then we're recreating that. And in our Science of Mind teaching, we consider our own hearts to be a holy place, not just the center of our physical being, but also the center of life itself, the center of all that is. In other words, you and I coexist in the center of the divine, in the very heart of God itself, and God exists in us as the heart of us. And this is true, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. Based on this idea, the Science of Mind teaches us that our life is the life of the divine, and that life is made manifest in human form as us. So as I said earlier, our week 5 topic is these hands, and what's ours to do. My life is the life of the divine made manifest. Spirit works through me in the world. These hands are the hands of God. What's mine to do? What action am I to take to live my call and live my life's purpose? And, first of all, we've got to be loving and kind to each other. Saint Teresa of Avila, who lived 1515 to 1582, she said, "Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks compassion on the world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the feet. Yours are the eyes. You are his body. Christ has no body now on earth but yours." And I realize that that's a bit Catholic, in the way that it's talking about our relationship. But if each of us is, in fact, the Christ consciousness, what a brilliant idea that we are not here by accident. We are here to do good. We are here to create, to love, to serve, and to express our love to and with each other and the world. So for today, we're actually doing a sister service thing with CSL Kelowna. And to join me to talk about where we're going as a movement and how we can still serve humanity in the face of this global pandemic paradigm and in the face of, institutionalized racism, please welcome my dear friend, our former spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Ken Gordon. Hi, Dr. Ken.
Hi, Reverend Doug. How are you? It's great to have you here. I'm so excited about this connection that we're doing with your Apple Valley High Desert CSL and the Kelowna CSL. It's like sister centers getting together so that we can celebrate. And it certainly is a magnificent reflection of what this pandemic's done for us by really catapulting us into the world of technology, which we both know we probably could have chosen to be in 20 years ago and really got on the cutting edge of it. But you, with all your experience, my folks, I know your folks probably know all about your past and everything, but mine don't have a clue. And I want them to know all of the skills and qualities that you have. Now, you and I met in 2009 when you were directing the music for the World Parliament of Religions for Ricky Byers out of Agape. And I know that you've had an incredible past history of your profession. So maybe perhaps you just share with us a little bit and tell us how you're helping model what's going to happen in the future for all of us.
I'm happy to. And it's funny because when we came into Sharon, my wife Sharon also is a minister too, Reverend Sharon Earl. And when we came into religious science, the first center that we were members of was Agape. And I had recently graduated from music school here in Los Angeles, the Grove School of Music, and was working as a composer and arranger and music producer. And I noticed that the Agape band at the time was playing with very rudimentary sheet music. And one of the things that I do is make sheet music. So I approached Michael and Ricky. I was studying with Michael at the time, and I approached Dr. Michael, and I said, I can help out getting rehearsals to be easier with more sheet music and stuff. And when he and Ricky saw what I did, then Ricky, kind of hired me as her music assistant. And so we stayed there for quite a while. And then we went to David Walker's church in Beverly Hills, where I met James Mellon. And then he and I founded the NoHo
No.
Arts, the NoHo Arts Center. I almost forgot it. The NoHo Arts Center for New Thought together, where I was the music director and then music minister, and I went through all my training, my RSI training as a practitioner and as a minister. But my career outside of that for all these years has been as a music and video producer. And it's funny that you said where we should have been 20 years ago, because, you know, like I've had a lot of connections to the music business and our spiritual entities in Nashville, both CSL Nashville and Unity of Nashville. Reverend John McLean is my dear friend too. And you know, the Christian churches in the Nashville area and the entire Christian music and Christian broadcast system, they're years ahead of us in the way that they use technology, in the way that they organize music ministry, and frankly in the value financially, not so much spiritually, because we recognize that, you know, the tripod of, you know, the spiritual leader, children's, you know, family ministry and music ministry, but they've been years and years ahead of us in terms of their willingness to use music and video as a tool to grow their communities. And I think you're right. The pandemic has kind of jump-started our need. And as we were talking about before, I've gotten so many calls from our centers in North America on how do I stream? How do I get moving? How do I take the expertise that you have, you know, because I'm a music producer for the Walt Disney Corporation, and I've also produced video for the Walt Disney Corporation. I had all this equipment. Your people don't realize this, but what looks like me sitting in my sanctuary is actually me in front of a green screen in my studio at home, because I can't go to my center, which is 100 miles from here. So I've been doing everything from right here in this room and using the technology. And I think the pandemic has really had to, you know, have us jumpstart. The funny thing about it is it's grown my community in the way that one of the things that I've done is I hired a callback system. So every morning I record a message and I send it out to my community, a voice message, and I send out an accompanying text. And just since I've been doing that the last 2.5 months, people from within my community and friends of mine have said, can you add my sister to your list? Can you add my friend to your list? Can you add my cousin to your list? And those people have started being members of my community. Some of them have started tithing, and I get personal communications and prayer requests from them. So I think you're absolutely right. The pandemic situation, when we talk about, you know, lemonade from lemons and a silver lining, you know, this is the situation that we're in right now. And I think the pandemic has forced us to become more agile in terms of our technology and using our technology to communicate with our spiritual family and grow our spiritual family.
That's perfect. I've got to get you to add a little color to this. And so what I want you to do is drop a couple of those names of the famous people you've worked with, just for us folks up here in White Bread, Kelowna.
Well, my partner on the Disney Channel is Genevieve Goings, and she has a show on Disney called Choo Choo Soul. If you're 4 feet tall, she's very famous in the United States and Canada. And of course, I was the music director on the soap opera General Hospital for 5 years. And I've either composed on, orchestrated on, done music preparation on about 100 movies, and I have about 2,500 sheet music titles in print, including, I think you guys know about the music book that I did for us, for the New Thought, you know, 101 Inspiring Songs, the Ultimate New Thought Fake Book. But, you know, my mission statement as a person has been, since I've been in this ministerial journey, my mission statement is to be an agent of change for good in every area of my life. And I don't make a distinction between my ministry and my music and video production entity, business. To me, it's all my ministry. It's all my ministry. I just try and be an agent of change for good in every area of my life. So,
and you succeed. You've been one of my favorites for years. We've had a very close relationship over the years.
And I have to thank you.
Similar background.
I have to thank you, not only for encouraging me into ministry, but I have to tell you, in almost every single service, I quote you, because when I pray, I say, usually, I like to quote Dr. Ken and say, I believe in God and absolutely nothing else. That's been very influential to me. But I also want to say, in the summer, was it 3 years ago when we were at Skamania Lodge in Washington, you did a workshop in which you asked us all to delve deeply into our consciousness and find a word that we could use to help us facilitate our work here on Earth. And the word that came to me immediately was harmony. Wa, the Japanese word for harmony. And it was so, it impressed itself on me so deeply, both as a minister and as a musician, because it works for both of those contexts, that I actually had it tattooed on my arm. Here, I'm going to put this into frame here. I actually had the word harmony tattooed onto my arm because it so impressed me, and nobody had done that work with me before except you. So thank you for that gift, and it's really given me direction in my ministry. I wanted to ask you a question. You know, after your long tenure as spiritual leader, and you know, you were on the board of RSI before we became Centers for Spiritual Living, and you and I knew each other through RSI back in those days. But after your long tenure as spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living, where do you now see our movement going, and what do you think is the most important issue that we need to concentrate on to keep us creating the opportunity for a world that works for everyone?
I'll answer that with two different answers. One is on the temporal and the other is on the esoteric. But for the temporal, for what we need to do is we need to learn to do this better. I mean, there's no question, not that there's anything wrong with what we're doing now, but it's been quite a learning curve and we have quite a ways to go, I'm sure. The other thing on the temporal that we really need to focus on is education. We need to find a way to be able to get our classes out into the world via this form of technology, and that means that we need to really heighten the ability, the skill, and the quality of what we're doing and how we're sending it out there. Mm-hmm. Science of Mind is one of the, well, for me, it's the best conduit to really awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. It's a fantastic teaching for that, and it opens the door for us to be able to do that. And I think that that's what we're being pressed into doing. And the other thing, though, is on the esoteric side, what it requires that we develop a new consciousness around what goes on in order to match what we see in the world with what is actually happening within our own emotional body and how we're doing it. We're in a situation where you and I and everybody in our congregations, I'm certain, know that only goodness comes from this action, this thing called this pandemic that's happening and going on with us. But like so many things that we treat for and we want to bring into manifestation, we don't necessarily like the effect as it happens. But in order to create a world that works for everyone, in order to awaken to our own spiritual magnificence, it demands that we change. And that change is something that's uncomfortable for a lot of us. And so really what I choose to put forward for the future growth of the movement of New Thought and Centers for Spiritual Living is to really dedicate ourselves to do our spiritual work, so that what we can do is we can view all of this changing that's happening in the world around us, this thing called the pandemic, this thing called this beautiful life of ours, and understand that it's not against us, it's for us. So that what we do is we dissolve and dissipate any sense of animosity or hatred or anger that goes with it, and instead respond from that open, clean heart that allows us to be able to see what's happening, whether it be what just happened in Milwaukee or any number of other things that happen. And instead of looking at it and getting angry and helping to build that sense of violence, instead to be able to look at it and say, this is wrong, in order to move into the next step. So what it is I need to work on my consciousness, and our movement needs to work on the consciousness that we have. So that what we can do is we can shed the negativity and instead move forward with an understanding that there is a huge value that's taking place right now. We're all like in a rock tumbler, and we're banging against each other, all 7.5 billion of us and every other entity and every other form on this planet, banging against each other. And like a rock tumbler, the purpose of it is to remove those rough edges in order to be able to smooth and create the beauty that is the truth of who we are. So it really takes that to be able to bring us to where we're going. So those are the two things that I think we're moving on with regard to New Thought and Centers for Spiritual Living.
That's a great
I'm retired
answer.
now. I'm retired now. I'm not just all CSL.
I know.
Got the bigger vision.
But you're still on the board of AGNT, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I'm still very active, which is the Association for Global New Thought.
Right.
So I'm still active in that, and I still work with a lot of ministers from all over the world, from different denominations. We're working with Unity. We're working with a lot of independents. We're certainly working with the affirming ministries with Bishop Yvette.
I
know, and there's a lot of interconnectivity that's taking place, especially as we move into this thing that we're in right now, because it's awakening us to an awareness that something needs to change. And maybe, just maybe, and I speak for myself, I don't speak for anybody in your congregation or my congregation or anybody else in the world, I speak for myself. Maybe perhaps part of the change has to be to remove some of the arrogance I have with regard to, I'm right, you're wrong, and step into a world and realize that the functioning of it and the way that it works is to really co-conspire with them to be able to create a world that really works, which I believe this is a major movement to be able to make that happen.
I agree, and the shift in consciousness, it's funny, you said, maybe you have to get rid of the arrogance. I joke with my congregation that the way I was brought up, anytime somebody comes to me and says, Reverend Doug, I need to talk to you, my first reaction is, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Because of the way that I was brought up, and to realize that, and this week, Centers for Spiritual Living's global vision, which is the continuation of listening to our hearts, and this week is, about our hands and what our hands, what's ours to do. And one of the quotes used this week is so impactful for what's going on. It was actually Minneapolis, not Milwaukee, but where Dr. Holmes wrote, "We cannot enter the gate of good with a sword in our hands." We cannot enter the gate of good with a sword in our hands. And I feel like one of the things that I've learned in this last 30 years is if I feel like fighting something, it's probably not the divine urge that's coming up within me. If I feel like fighting, or if there's conflict, it's probably time for me to look for some way to surrender to that one. And of course, what I talk about with my community all the time is that and you said what we need to do is step up our education. And to me, that means to really impress upon people the need for spiritual practice, the need for prayer and meditation. And, I joke with my practitioners and other people and say, what does a religious science minister talk about on Sunday? Prayer and meditation. What does a religious science minister talk about 52 Sundays a year? Prayer and meditation. What do you do for the 30 years of your career? Prayer and meditation. And it's so funny because something that you said to me years ago, and I found to be really true, is, within every community, there's a small group of people who get it right away and jump into the practice and their lives zoom forward. And then there's those, who it's like the difference between, do you know about the science of mind or do you know the science of mind? Do you know about it or do you know it? So I agree with you. We need to step up our education and we need to use these tools to be able to put our messages and put our education online. Right now, within the pandemic, I'm actually not teaching as much because, frankly, my butt is really tired of sitting in this chair. And the idea of
Dr. Deborah says she has Zoom butt.
I know, Zoom butt. I'm really tired of having my butt in this chair, and I think the thought of having another 3 hours at the end of a long day of teaching class, my butt is saying no. My heart is saying yes, but my butt is saying no. I can't wait. This week, Governor Newsom here in California announced that we were going to be able to start opening, but the restrictions that they've put us under, we're not Catholics, we're not Jews, we're not Muslims, and for us, coming to church on a Sunday, I think is a spiritual choice. It's not like a duty. It's a spiritual choice. We choose to celebrate. The restrictions that we've got in California right now are not going to make it really fun to get together. It's like, oh, distancing. How far apart can we be? So I don't know. How do you guys feel about the possibility of a timeline to open back up again? Have you thought about it yet?
We're looking probably at the earliest in the fall. That's the earliest. And the way that it sounds, it might even be longer than that. You know, the Unitarians came out and said that they were expecting that they would reopen next spring.
Wow.
You know, it would we really have to side on caution, especially because, like you say, we're there because of choice. We're not there because of duty. And we get together, and I can't even visualize what it would be like to walk into my center and not hug 40 people. I walk into the studio today, and Derek's here, and the first thing I want to do is hug him.
I know.
You know, I love Deborah, but she's not enough hugs for me. Yeah. I'm monogamous, but not hugonymous.
If we're not going to be able to go back to the old normal, what do you see as the new normal? And what's going to be our job in creating that new normal and sustaining it as people who love each other, love spirit, love the study of the science of mind, love getting together to celebrate our understanding, our conscious alignment of our oneness with the divine? What do you see as coming next?
I believe that the day will come that we reconnect again, and that our centers can go back to be the places of intimacy that they were for so many years. However, I also think that it's going to take us a while, and that there's going to be a transformation that takes place within each and every one of us in that time frame, where what we do is we fill that void that's necessary for us to have personal attention, or intention too, and we fill that void with something else, and that is going to really take us into the next step. It's going to lift us to another place that we can be, and it's going to be able to motivate us so that we are way more aware of the value of what we have in the future than what we perhaps had when this pandemic hit around the 1st of March.
Right.
You know, that awareness, I know from our congregation, I'm sure it's true for yours and for others, I'm aware of the fact that people are all of a sudden saying, I miss the center. Right. I miss the intimacy. I miss the connection. I miss the people. And up until March 1st, I can't say that awareness existed. I'll speak for myself again, totally for me. I mean, I'm craving to get together with the people that I love so that what we can do is dance together physically and be informed. And I know that's true for just about everybody. So, you know, the biggest thing that I think is going to happen is we are going to have a spike in our awareness and realize and remember how grateful we are to be able to be together. You know, it matches that old saying, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Well, taking it away for 3, 4, 6, 8 months, whatever it happens to be, really can spark us to remember why we were there in the first place, instead of just showing up because it was a duty for some and because it was unconscious for others. It was a habit. I've really found that people who go to the center quite often go there out of habit. And you know how wonderful it is to be able to open the door to do it with purpose instead of habit. I'm sure you've got the same situation as we have, and that is that, you know, not only is our congregation growing because, like you say, sign my aunt up, sign my uncle up, sign my brother up, but in addition, what we're finding is we've got people in our services now from Kenya and from France and from all over the world and all over the United States and all over Canada, and they're showing up. And the thing that amazes me, that I'm so grateful for, that I just love it, is that it's not just once. They're coming back time after time after time after time again, which gives us an opportunity to really be able to reach out and become that global idea that we wanted to be in the first place. And so what Deborah's talking about, you know, is that we never want to give our congregation or release our congregation in that intimacy and that connection we have. But the other hand is that we need to learn how to create that intimacy for people who are thousands of miles away, sometimes continents away, the other side of the world, and to be able to reach in and make them feel like they're connected to us because they are.
Because they are. That's the part, right?
Yeah.
Because they are. Well, we're over 20 minutes now, and I know that we haven't even begun to peel the orange and the onion of what we could talk about, but I just want to tell you how much I love you and how much I honor you. It was great last September to be in Kelowna for the Ministers' Conference and get to meet more of your people that I hadn't met before and see Kelowna and see where your center is and see the beautiful Okanagan Valley and the lake. And everybody hosted us so beautifully there. I miss you and I miss Deb. And I look forward to when we'll be able to be in person again together. And I just want to tell your community that I think they're so lucky to have you and Deb and Barb, who's my dear friend for so many years through our New Thought Music family. And to all of you, I send my blessings, my love, and I hope you have a great, great week. And is there anything you'd like to finish up with?
Oh, for sure. I came and visited you. I did your ordination. I spoke on a Sunday. I know your congregation. I know a lot of them too from all of the conferences and things that we do. And I miss them, and I miss you and Sharon, but I mostly miss them. You know, one of the things I did for 8 years as spiritual leader was I traveled, 200 days a year sometimes. And in those times, what I did was I got to connect with so many people in so many places. And I remember each and every center I was at, and I remember a lot of the people. And so I miss the potlucks that you have in your back room. I miss the smiling faces. And mostly what I miss is I miss the contact. But you know what? Goodness is the result of this. And up until now, I might not have been aware that I missed all that.
Wow.
So God bless you, and give my love to Sharon as well and to your congregation. And let's do this again.
I would love that.
A joint sister-brother meeting of congregations. What a great idea.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Peace and blessings. I love you. Have a great day. Well, that was sure fun. Thank you, Dr. Ken. And we can center hop now. If we miss one live, we can catch it on replay, Eleanor says. That's true. A lot of you really liked what Dr. Ken said about us being in rocks in a tumbler. We're banging up against each other, and what we're doing is smoothing off the rough edges. And yeah, that was very inspiring and uplifting for me. Really appreciated what he had to say. I loved what Dr. Holmes said. You know, we cannot enter this gate of good with a sword in our hands. Mary says that was terrific. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mary. Today I want to invite us all into action. You know, to use our hands for good. We have to make use of the tools that we've been given as human beings, starting with our beautiful mind, the mind of God. We have a mind to contemplate love, to meditate on peace, and to embody the oneness of all. And our mind is part of the one mind of the divine. And we individualize that mind in every second that we're alive in these bodies. And again, as St. Teresa of Avila said, ours are the hands through which Spirit blesses all the world. Ours are the hands through which Spirit blesses the world. You know, we each have a physical body to experience the world, and we have our five senses to see and hear and feel and taste and touch the world, and our mouth is to speak words of love, and our hands are to take action in service of others. You know, and our community is a microcosm of the world: black, white, gay, straight, you know, Latino, Asian, transgender. I mean, come on, remember that God in us, as us, is us. I want you all to join me, please, in the work of dismantling 500 years of institutionalized racism in our country. Our center is a wonderful mirror of what can be outside of our center. So I want you guys to all please join me with your hands and help us dismantle this 500 years of institutionalized racism in our nation, because God in you, as you, is you. I have a backronym for us this week, and our backronym is HANDS. My helping affirms the nature of divine spirit. My helping affirms the nature of divine spirit. You know, our affirmation this week is love guides my hands in divine right action. Let's do our best to live that this week. And of course, you know, this is part of our 2020 vision, you know, our one life in focus. The more that we can get in focus on what we want to accomplish, it's really coming to me that this idea of dismantling institutionalized racism is something I feel really, really called to work on for myself and hopefully all of us. Because Dr. Holmes reminds us, you know, that our experience here has to be perfect God, perfect human, perfect being. And yeah. So I want to remind us with my song, All Is Well. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. I know that the infinite indwelling Spirit blesses and protects you. I know that Spirit is kind and gracious through you. And I know that Spirit shines its light upon us and is our peace. And so it is. Amen. Let's sing together. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. For those of you who continue to financially contribute to the center, I want to thank you. I realize that this pandemic paradigm has a lot of people's finances turned upside down, but I don't want any of us to ignore the truth that giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin, and to be in right relationship to our flow, we've got to be in right relationship to both sides of that equation. So you can continue to give. You can go and give through the Give Plus mobile app. Of course, you can go to our website. And when you go to our website and scroll all the way down to the bottom on our website to the donate button, you can give there. And then, of course, you can also, of course, mail. Our parking lot is not quite yet open. Another week before we can drive vehicles onto our parking lot, but you can walk on the parking lot, and you can go and make a tithe through the mailbox. Or mail in to the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, 18575 Corwin Road in Apple Valley, California, 92307. Of course, our website is high-desertcsl.org. Giving is down, and but our expenses are down too. But we're going to have to tighten our belts, at least in the world of form, for the now. Just fair warning, giving is down, and all of our income comes from you and me. I tithe 10% on all of my income. Let's say our giving affirmation together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And of course, I try to remember every transaction, whether it's in person, on Amazon, every transaction. I bless this gift in faith, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. We will have Zoom time after service today. I forgot to send out the Zoom link. I suppose I can do that right now. Let me go to my browser right now to send out that text to people. But the Zoom link is 838-1670-6821. There is a password. It is fellowship, all lowercase, fellowship. And that will let you into the Zoom room if you do intend to join us. And I want to thank everybody who's been in service with us today. Let's go out with God Makes Me Want to Sing. And I'll send out the text right now for the Zoom room so that if you want to wait just a minute, you'll get that text. And I'll see you. Have a blessed day. I love you all. And peace and blessings.
Can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. It makes me feel so good, I can do most anything. I am loving every living thing. I can see the face of God, paupers and kings. Whoa, oh, yeah. We're all precious, no one less or more. We've all got the same treasure in store. That's why I'm loving every living thing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Ooh, I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Makes me feel so good, I can do most anything, everything. I'm believing in my guiding light. I know no matter what comes, it always turns out right. Whoa, yeah. Just stick right down.